Lesson 39, Accents and Breathing Marks on the Same Letter. When we write ancient Greek, we have lots of markings, dots, lines, squiggles. There's a lot of little markings crowded in all around the letters.
Right. The technical term for this is diacritical marks because they're the accents, the rough breathings, the smooth breathings, the macrons, all of those are extra markings, diacritical marks. But basically, all the marks.
And as you get more advanced, you'll see even more of them, like the diaeresis. And also there's a question mark in ancient Greek, looks like a semicolon.
Right. And the semicolon in Greek looks like a dot in the middle of the line instead of at the bottom of the line with a little tail.
So to make a long story short, we have lots and lots of little extra markings in ancient Greek notation. But in this book, I'm trying to explain everything to beginners in the easiest possible way. So one thing I want to do in this lesson is to show you how you might see two markings crammed in together over the same letter. I still remember when I was a beginning Greek student, this would really confuse me because it can just be overwhelming to see all these little markings. And so let's break this down a bit and let's take a look at how you can see both a breathing mark and an accent over the same letter. Let's say, for example, you have a Greek word that starts with the letter epsilon. If it's the first letter in the word, it must have a breathing mark. So that has to be there. And if by chance the accent is on the first syllable, it could also have an accent mark over it. So you could have a Greek word that starts with the letter epsilon that has both a breathing mark and the accent right next to each other over the same letter. So they're going to be parked right next to each other, as you see here. And so it's a lot of little marks to interpret at the same time, right, Catherine?
Yes. And this is why it's really good that the font in this textbook is a little bit bigger when you have the Greek as opposed to the English, so that the marks are very clear and not confused, because sometimes in Greek textbooks, the font is so small that it's hard to tell what is a breathing mark and what is an accent mark.
In many Greek textbooks, the print is very light and hard to read. Sometimes it's very small. Sometimes there's not much space between words. I've seen that.
Mm-hmm. As have I.
And so in this book, I have gone to great lengths to make the Greek text as easy to read as possible, to help beginners avoid that kind of thing. Because as I've said many times, my goal in writing this book is to remove obstacles from the path of the learner.
And one of those obstacles for Greek is mixing up the different markings because it's hard to tell which is which.
So the big takeaway we want you to get from this lesson is that you may see a breathing mark and an accent over the same letter. Just analyze each of them separately. They're still doing the same thing they always do. It's just they're crammed in together. So look closely, see what the breathing mark is doing, see if it's rough breathing or smooth breathing. Look at the accent. Notice that that syllable will receive the stress in that word. And just take note of those things and keep on going.